You going back to work?
Work, work. I want to say, I want to say one thing about the audition process for all you guys who audition out there. You know, finding the moment is what we do as actors. That's what we do. We find the moments. And when I'm directing a play, I never find the moment in reading the script. I make my own mental notes, but then I go to rehearse with actors, and during the rehearsal process and the exploration and all the games we play as actors, we find the moments. You don't have that luxury when you audition for a television show or a movie. You have to find those moments before you go in. It's incumbent upon you to find the moments and then play them, not play the moments and hope that you hit the mark. It's all the difference in the world. And the people who I hire when they audition for me are smart actors who understand what the moments are, what's at stake in the scene, and then they take their shot. I don't give a fuck if it's the wrong shot. Then I know I've got a thinking actor who's going after what's at stake in the play. So I ask all of you, consider it. Don't go in. You know, you're all good actors. Don't fuck around and not do your work. Find out what the moments are. Find out what the event is. Find out the price paid, and then do your work. Tanya, you're going to be great in that.
Thank you, Bobby.
Come on in.
There he is. Bobby. Hey.
Billy, what are we looking at?
This is the same scene from Drift that I brought last week. That was an incredible experience. So.
With Ditto?
Yeah, with Ditto also. But
oh, what were you talking about? I'm sorry.
What we did last week with Drift.
I'm sorry, I misunderstood.
No, but yes, for sure with Ditto. Awesome. This is this is a rewrite based on that feedback.
Great.
And that feedback, I don't know why it took me so long, but it did. So I get it.
Unimportant.
It's the money. It's that gesture. And if that's threaded from the top of the play, I'm in great shape.
You're in great shape already, but thank you.
Thank you. But listen, this is the last. This is the scene that keeps me up at night because I go, it's not there. It never was there. I didn't buy it. It had all the information, but I never bought it viscerally. And I'm starting to buy it viscerally.
Right? I love it.
And so that turn is really important. This, what these men want is really important, and it's in the scene now. I feel, and I can work on this scene. Like I understand it now. So
there's no doubt.
Here's a first draft of that scene.
Fantastic.
Good. Okay.
Those of you who have not seen Billy's first play, Callan Camo, which was produced in New York and Chicago, is now here in Los Angeles. What theater, Billy?
It's at Versus Theater on Pico, but it closed last night. So,
okay.
It was wonderful. Great. It was wonderful.
Okay. So this is a scene from Billy's next play. Okay.
Tom's trailer, late night. Tom's looking out of his trailer window, a glass of scotch in his hand. An ashtray sits on the desk with a lit cigar in it. Cigar smoke can be seen rising into the light. Faint scratching and shuffling sounds can be heard. Angelo enters.
Listen. You hear that? Under us? It's the most unsettling feeling. Sitting here, alone. Quiet with my thoughts. Feeling as though I'm on solid ground, and then suddenly, without any warning at all, it sounds like a pack of wild dogs are trying to claw their way in from underneath me. It scares the breath right out of my lungs. And I know they're coming because every time I call, they come. Every time I ask for something better, I get them instead. But I never expected. And every time they come, it scares the living hell out of me.
Just then, the whole trailer drops about a foot on one side.
Excuse me for a second.
Tom walks over to the window, throws it open, and screams out.
Get out of here! You mangy fucking dogs, you get! You hear me?
Tom starts grabbing things from inside the trailer and throwing them out the window.
I don't ever want to see you around here again. You tell Gary I said I'm keeping his goddamn trailer. I like it. Just the way it is. You tell him that I wouldn't take another, even if he paid me. You can also tell him he's not getting another fucking dime out of me for as long as I fucking live. You got it?
Tom slams the window shut, watches the workmen scurry away in the dark.
He's changing the marks. Dale. He's out there right now. I watched him all day. I watched his hands stained with the same bullshit paint he's using to cover his shitty work. And the sun went down and I hung around thinking I was going to catch him in the act, so I hid behind
sure enough, after everyone had gone, the grinder fired up and he began. A one-man operation in the dark. Sanding down what was. Writing his own history. And I saw your light come on. Smoke drift out the window. Because you know he's out there. Don't you? You know exactly what he's doing.
Let us hear it, Bobby.
I wouldn't be worth much of a damn if I didn't.
You didn't order any 8/16ths. You never planned on ordering any 8/16ths.
You want to know the difference, my boy, between a 422 and an 816?
Tom picks up a bolt off the desk and holds it up.
They widen the flange an eighth of an inch to accommodate one extra bolt hole.
Hey, Joe, can you turn to him?
One extra bolt hole. That's it. Same alloy, same capacity. Cal Fetter convinces the engineer it's necessary to make them an extra 16th of a thousand on the build. The engineer gets a kickback. The difference for us, we don't get the job. See, that's the difference between me and the guys down at the athletic code. I comb through the specs line by line, inch by inch. I'm looking for the fact. I make the bid. I have to make to get the job. I get the job, we eat. You eat. Dale eats. The kid. Everyone eats. I don't get the job. We starve. We die. I make the bid I have to make, and then I trim the fat. You see, we live on the fat. That's how we do it. That's how it's always been done. It's how we have to do it. I've been doing this for 30 years, Angela. I learned it from the ground up. I know the difference between structural integrity and bullshit. And so will you.
What happened at Van Buren Street?
Is that you?
Cut too
Or your
far
brother
that time?
talking?
That's okay. Think of him that you.
Is that you or your brother talking?
Cut too far that time?
You know, maybe you're right. Maybe this was a bad idea.
Maybe it was.
Maybe this is too much too soon.
You lied to me.
You listen to me, boy.
You
You
lied.
better know what you're
right
talking
to my
about. You
face.
stand over the top
What
of
else
me,
you lying about?
and you start making accusations.
That's
Your
true what
brother
Joe says
has
about the
no
welds,
idea
right?
what he's talking
Did you
about.
force him to short the welds? Did men die because of that?
It had nothing to do with the goddamn welds. Only in your father's head did it have anything to do with the welds. We penetrate the welds after we pour all the time. We did it then, and we do it now. The floor collapsed laterally. It slid into the fucking street sideways because it wasn't braced laterally. A third of the bracing that was required was in place, and that is a fact. That's how the accident was written up, and that's what happened. Period. Now, why it wasn't braced, I mean, whether he forgot about it, whether he decided he wanted to take the risk, or whether he was already coming apart at the seams and wanted to tear us apart, I don't know. But he was the supervising foreman on the job site, and that was on his shoulders. So there you go. Sorry to have to be the one to tell you, but there it is. I never forced him to short a weld or not brace a floor, ever. And anyone else for that matter. He made a mistake, men died. We're reshaping the earth. Men are going to die. Accidents will happen. While they're working, while they're off, while they're on their iron, when they step up the curb without looking, get hit by a bus that they're waiting for. We lost 3 men that day. I've lost 8 since then. 10 more will die by the time I'm through. I live with that. I have to. And I suppose this is something your father could no longer handle. And in the end, I don't blame him for a second. Not for everyone. I'm not worried about my conscience. I sleep fine at night. What's important to me is that I survive long enough to make sure everything I've worked for gets passed to someone else. So something lives in the world beyond me. And I damn well know you know exactly what that means. You do what the moment requires. You don't think, you act. Come what may.
Tom put some money on the desk.
What's that?
That you pay. Plus a little something extra.
It's a lot extra.
It's for the kid. Don't make a stubborn decision. Be smart.
Yeah, is that what you told him?
Angela moves towards the door, locks it, turns back.
What are you doing?
Where's the letter that he gave you?
You arrogant little cocksucker.
Where is it?
Fucking letter.
Answer.
I burned it.
If you had that letter,
That's right.
then you were there that night.
He asked me to meet with him.
To tell you what?
Fuck off.
To tell you what?
That he wanted to die.
You pushed him, didn't you?
Get the fuck out of here.
Answer the question.
I'll call the fucking parole officer.
Go
Put
ahead,
your
call
ass right back where you belong. I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere.
That's right. You could rot there, you ungrateful son
And I don't
of a
give a
bitch.
fuck, okay? You tell me what
Can
you
you
did.
just go back just a little bit, like,
Sorry.
and just get that? It's okay. Don't make it polite.
Just tell them where to pick it up from.
Go back 4 lines and go right over the top of each other. You know, we don't have to hear 'em.
I'll call that fucking parole officer.
Go back 4 lines.
You got me, Bob?
Whatever you want.
Okay. I'll call that fucking parole officer and I'll put your ass
Good, go ahead.
right
Call him
back
up.
where you were.
I'm not going anywhere.
And you can
I
rot
don't
there,
give a fuck.
You
You tell me
ungrateful
what
son
you
of a
did.
bitch. I gave you your future. I gave you your backstabbing coward of a father what he deserved.
You decided that.
He decided that. The day he tried to put us back in the mud.
Angelo grabs him.
Is that what you want to do?
You broke his neck in half.
What did you think he was up there to do?
You broke every bone in his body.
He wanted me to see it.
Bull fucking shit.
Angelo throws him in the chair, grabs the hammer off Tom's desk.
Yeah, go ahead. How many times you gonna give up your life? Huh? That man, he never gave a damn about you. I'm the one that put food on your table. I'm the one who paid your bills. I'm the one who sat with your mother when your father went wandering around in the night like a goddamn madman. This was inevitable. That man, he was gonna die. All I did was make sure he didn't take us with him. And now that's the truth. You know it, and I know it. Think of the kid. Think of the life that I'm handing you. It's it. You put that down. That boy, I know. It's hard, I know it is, but this is the way. This is the way it's always supposed to be. I carry it too. I carry it every goddamn day. He was the only friend that I ever had.
You left him floating in a fucking hole.
Tom suddenly throws a bunch of paperwork at Angelo and rushes towards the door. Angelo stalks him. As he fumbles with the lock, Angelo lifts the hammer and brings it down across the back of Tom's head, bringing him to the ground. The rumble from the opening returns as Tom pulls himself to his feet, pulls his jacket tight, and starts stammering back to the desk. His head is open, blood dripping from it. He moves to the desk, fumbling for the phone. It falls to the ground.
Okay, that's good. That's all
All right. Cold reading for the actors. So, the penultimate scene in a new play. This writer's going off to Miami to workshop it in January. How many people think the scene is working? Raise your hand. It's 1,000% better than last week. Yes, you do have it. Yeah. What a great day that was.
What a great day at the gym that was.
So, anybody have anything they want to say or ask of the playwright? Howie, Joe?
Really, it's great. It's fantastic. So what was the story? So the button is the letter, right? That's the switch, right? That's when we talked about. In other words, the letter is how he kind of nails him in his line
Yeah.
about the murder, right?
Correct.
Is that you're kind of not?
Well, I think that what we talked about last week was like the turn in the scene is him putting that money in front of him because Angelo knows what that means.
Yeah,
Because
but Howie's question is that's how he nails him. He wouldn't buy him off if he didn't do something wrong.
You know,
Right,
I'm
right,
saying,
right.
I'm saying there's
Yeah.
two different things. The
Yes.
turn is the money.
Yeah.
But the tell.
Yes.
Right. So my
Yeah.
question is, what is the story that Angelo has about the letter?
That his father wrote up basically a confession involving himself and Tom, and put it before him to sign it.
And just so you know, all of that is in the play.
But, so it's already been established
Yes.
that Angelo burned the letter.
No. That
So
Tom.
what is the story of the letter before this moment? Is what I'm saying.
It all comes from Joe, and that their father wrote a letter outlining the wrongs that him and Tom did together, and put it before him to sign.
Tell me what you're getting at.
I'm getting at, for me, the turn is when he says, "I burned the letter." I'm saying that moment is key. So I'm saying
Yes.
the story.
Yes.
Has he ever had the conversation with Angelo about the letter? They've
No.
never talked about it.
No.
So what I'm saying is that exact moment.
Yeah.
When he brings up the letter, I want Angelo's reply to be something. I don't know what it is. Look at that, but that
Okay.
moment is that's the tell.
Right.
Like that's the tell of that he's been lying to him about everything.
Oh
It's
boy, I
like-
disagree entirely.
Really?
Yeah, it's about the money. It's about the buying off of the money. Once he tries to buy him off, that's the moment. You know, what you're talking about may be a confirmation of
Yeah.
but the
Well,
tell.
I'm saying it's two different things. I'm saying the letter
No,
itself.
I agree, but there's a big difference between one being the tell, oh, you're guilty, and the other being the confirmation. Otherwise, there are two different moments that are events in the scene, and it becomes confusing. You can think about Howie may be right, but I don't think so. I think you now have the scene. I don't think so, Howie.
Well, I'm just saying. Right now, the response I burned it could be strong.
Well,
Like
that's a different note.
Yeah.
That's a great note.
Yeah.
That's
all
a
I'm
great
saying.
note, but
It's just, I don't know what. There's got to be a better response. I just think there could be a better response.
that's a different. You're talking about a piece of dialogue. Then I get you.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that's a different note than changing the event in the scene. Chris, and then I'm sorry, Joe and Jim, and we have to move on. A lot of work.
Billy, I am absolutely sick with jealousy of your. But the one piece of this that we're focused on, that money, as it is right now, I feel like you've run over it just a little too fast because I don't for any second believe that you even considered it.
And that's the problem. You haven't hit it on the head. You got to when he says that moment about the money, you have to give voice to it. From Bobby Marlow's character, from Joe. Just give voice to it. Something that opens the door for us, which is why Howie had a little problem. And don't be afraid of it.
Okay.
You know, he's saying to him, now that you've given me this money, I know who you are and what you did. And everything changes from that
And
moment.
he has to deal with that.
Yeah, don't be afraid to give voice to it.
Meaning, give me just a quick example.
Why would you buy me off right now if you did nothing wrong, you motherfucker, you killed my father? That's the bad line. That's the line that now you find some way to say it from a great playwright's point of view. But that's the moment that we're talking about, Howie, and then you get to the letter. So yes, you're absolutely right.
Okay.
And then later on, hold on one second. Then later on, when he says to the kid, when he says to him, think of the kid, he's got to grab the money off the desk and fucking force it at him. Take this. Think of the kid.
Right.
Then that'll
okay.
give everybody what they're looking for.
Okay, but give voice to that moment of like, why is this happening
Exactly.
to me right
They
now?
come back to the money one more time when he said, think of the kid.
Okay.
Let him say, take this fucking money. Think of the kid.
Take it.
That's an admission of guilt if he says that.
Of course. But then from the second moment becomes, yeah, I'm fucking guilty, but we need to move on to something better now. Joe, listen, I don't want to beat this scene to death because you've done great work here, so I don't want to confuse you. Okay. Go ahead.
I don't have any suggestions. It's so good. It's so good. And I love that you put in his mouth that you give him a good defense, that you give him the best
Absolutely.
defense you can find. And
Absolutely.
his thing is, I deal in the real world.
That's exactly right.
This is the real world. You want shit happens, people die,
Absolutely.
but we gotta eat.
Yeah.
And this is the way things are done.
That's what makes it a great scene. He
Yeah.
doesn't grovel.
Yeah. And this is what men do. We don't make our money on our feelings. We put up a fucking building, and shit goes, and it's
absolutely
it's so powerful because so many plays now don't deal with something. There's something about the idea of this building that I build, I make stuff, that it's like, oh, that has weight.
So would that make you sympathize with Joe's character?
Well, I mean, I love that character because he's that World War II guys. They're still around, but it's that thing
by
of
the
like.
way, what's wrong with sympathizing with Joe's
I don't know. I'm just
No.
asking.
It's a great thing.
No, yeah, it's like the world.
Yes.
Look,
I
the
don't know what
world
he's
is
looking
tough. The world is.
So listen, guys, unless somebody has something that's essential, I need to move on.
It just speaks to everything everyone was talking about before. What you wrote in the scene, it's great, but he locks the door. That's the moment. But then I never got a sense that Joe was like, like that changed things for him.
Oh, I did. It's all in the plan. Yeah, Joe. Yeah, these guys were right there. But go ahead.
Well, I mean that's the same thing everyone's talking about. You did do it. You just did it with that.
Does he think once the door locks, he's going to try and kill him?
Let me ask you a question.
And he's trying to talk him out of it.
What wasn't read is he picks up a hammer after he closes the door.
Yeah.
It's a fucking hammer in his hand. That's it. That's all you have to know. What are you doing with the fucking hammer?
Well, I guess maybe that's a moment.
But it is. But it wasn't read in the stage you're
All right.
It's fine.
Thank you.
I didn't get it.
I know because it wasn't read. It's okay.
Because
Once he
there's two
closes the
things
door, he's
that
got a
have to
hammer in
be
his hand.
real crystal clear. That at some point you have to know that he's admitted not only to doing all of that, although he justifies it all by the fact that it's how they eat, that's how they make money, but that he admits that he killed his father. I never get that. I get insinuendos. And then that would make sense for unlocking the door because what's coming is in his mind he's going to kill this guy.
So, okay, this
You
is
know
what
what I mean, Billy?
This is what I do want to do. I'm going to stop all the talk because you're going, and I feel you're getting confused.
I'm okay.
Okay. In my opinion, and that doesn't mean I'm right. Okay, but in my opinion, you're ready to workshop this piece. If you find out in the workshop with your actors, and some great actor says to you, I'm not sure that he bought me yet. I'm not sure that I would give it up. Then you deal with it. All right.
Right.
But when a character puts down a bunch of money on the table, clearly looking to buy something off, the other character walks over, closes the door, and picks up a fucking hammer. I don't know how that can be any clearer.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
sorry.
Yeah, all I was going to add to that is that the writing is beautiful, and I think that in the reading of it just now, I mean, I gestured to the table that a little bit, but when you see the play and it's fully done,
Exactly.
I mean,
That's what I meant by the play. That's what I meant by the play.
in the silence of him just walking to the door, locking it, and turning around with a hammer, the next line will have all the weight in the world.
That moment, locking the door, picking up the hammer, is better than 10 fucking monologues.
Yeah.
All right? So don't fuck around with
That's the big lesson.
That's the big lesson. You can talk all the fuck you want. It's what happens in the scene. Right. Take the money. You motherfucker. You're trying to buy me off because you killed my father. I'm going to lock the door and I'm going to pick up a fucking hammer. Shakespeare can't make that moment. I'm sorry. But it's all about what happens in the scene, not what's said.
Right. But when those broadswords come out, we all go, fuck.
Yeah.
That's it.
So the only moments I would suggest you, if I were directing this play, and I just might, put the money down, let him open it up just like he's supposed to, pick up the hammer, and then when he says that moment, when he says, think of the kid, let him grab the fucking money again and put it right in his face. Yeah. Take this, think of the kid. And then give voice to that one moment when he knows it is. Yeah. This is a terrific.
Is he tempted to take the money?
Okay, let's move on.
I think you have to take.
Thank you, everyone, so much.
Yeah. And then you'll find out, by the way, all this stuff everybody's talking about, you put it on his feet, actors will play moments, and then maybe you find out a little bit more. Maybe you don't need less, but that's the rehearsal process. You've done as much as you need to do now. You need to go in and put it up on his feet. What you're going to do. Okay. All right, let's move on.
Alan?
Yeah.
Rosencrantz. I saw that at the I took
My way.
Hayden to see it, my kid to see it over at the Noise of Dinner about a month ago.
Was it good?
Yeah, it was actually really clever. It's all clever. So after a while, it kind of wears you out. Yeah, incredibly clever. emotionally, there's nothing to hold on to, so it's got to be clever from beginning, middle, and end.
Billy, great rewrite, buddy.
Thank you,
Yeah,
buddy.
really
And thank
good.
you. You know, that last, like I said, it all came out of last week.
Billy, just a little suggestion. See if you can get in touch with who represents Peter, Paul, and Mary. I think that's fabulous. Ooh.
Those roles are just beautiful, boy. All right, settling, guys. Here you go.
You want to read it? I'll tell you. I've read it to you before. I'll read it again. The silence grew louder as your courage grew stronger. Gaze out your window. The orphan leaves swirled below. Feared by an expected tornado, time became fluid, uncertain of being lucid. You held me at my you held me at your you held me at my first breaths. I held you at your last. Your warmth and smile appeased me. Your unconditional love enlightened me. I don't know. I don't know. You take it.
My honored lord.
My most dear lord.
My excellent good friends. Oh, Guildenstern! Guildenstern! Ah, Rosencrantz! Good lads, how do you both?
As the indifferent children of the earth.
Happy that we are not over happy? Unfortunate's cap, we are not her very button.
Nor the soles of her shoe.
Neither, my lord.
And you live about her waist or in the middle of her favors?
Faith, her private we.
In the secret parts of fortune? Oh, most true, she is a strumpet. What news?
None, my lord, but that the world's grown honest.
Huh. And is doomsday near? Your news is not true. Let me question more in particular. What have you, my good friends, deserved at the hands of fortune that she sends you to prison hither?
Prison, my lord.
Denmark's a prison.
And is the world one?
A goodly one. Oh yeah. In which there are many confines, wards, and dungeons, Denmark being one of the worst.
We think not so, my
Why
lord.
then 'tis none to you. For there is nothing either good or bad, but thinking makes it so. To me it is a prison.
why then your ambition makes it one. 'Tis too narrow for your mind.
God. I could be bounded in a nutshell and count myself a king of infinite space, were it not that I have bad dreams.
Which dreams indeed are ambitions, but the very substance of the ambitious is merely the shadow of a dream.
Ah, that dream itself is but a shadow.
Truly, and I hold ambition of so airy and light a quality that it is but a shadow.
Then are our beggars' bodies, our monarchs and outstretched heroes the beggar shadows? Shall we to the court? For by my fay I cannot reason. Come.
We'll wait upon you.
No such matter. I will not sort you with the rest of my servants. For to speak to you like an honest man, I am most dreadfully attended. But in the beaten way of friendship, what make you at Elsinore?
To visit you, my lord. No other occasion.
Beggar than I am, I'm even poor in thanks. But I thank you. And sure, dear friends, my friends are too dear halfpenny. Were you sent for? Han, is it a free visitation? Is in your own clining? Come, deal just with me. Come, they speak.
What should we say, my lord?
Why, anything but to the purpose. You were sent for, and there's a kind of confession in your looks which your modesties have not cracked enough to color. I know the good king and queen have sent for you.
To what end, my lord?
Well, that you must teach me. But let me conjure you, by the rights of our fellowship, by the consonancy of our youth, by the obligation of our ever-preserved love, be even and direct with me, whether you were sent for or no.
What say you?
Nay, then, I have an eye of you. If you love me, hold not off.
My lord, we were sent for.
Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. I will tell you why. So shall my anticipation prevent your discovery, and your secrecy to the king and queen hold no feather. I have been late, but wherefore I know not. Lost all my mirth, forgone all custom of exercises, and indeed it goes so heavily with my disposition that this goodly frame, the earth, seems to me but a sterile promontory. This most excellent canopy, the air, look you, this brave overhanging firmament, this majestical roof fretted with golden fire. Why it appareth nothing to me but a foul and pestilent congregation of vapors. What piece of work is a man? How noble in reason, how infinite in faculties, in form and moving, how express in action, how like an angel, in apprehension, how like a god, the beauty of the world, the paragon of animals. And yet to me, what is this quintessence of just? Man delights not me, no woman neither. Though by your smiling you seem to say so.
My lord, there was no such stuff in my thoughts.
Why did you laugh then when I said man delights not me?
To think, my lord, if you delight not in men, what Lenten entertainment the play shall receive from you. We coated them on the way, and hither are they coming to offer you service.
He that plays the king shall be welcome. His majesty shall have tribute of me. Oh, and the adventurous knight shall use his foil at target. And the lover shall not sigh gratis, and the humorous man shall end his part in peace. And the clown shall make those laugh whose lungs are tickled over the seer. And the lady shall say her mind freely, or the blank verse shall halt for it. What players are they?
Even those who were wont to take delight in the tragedians of the city.
How chances they travel? Their residence, both in reputation and profit, was better both ways.
I think their inhibition comes by the means of delayed innovation.
Huh. Do they hold the same estimation as they did when I was in the city? Are they so followed?
No, indeed they are not.
How comes it? Do they grow rusty?
Nay, their endeavor keeps in the wonted pace, but there is, sir, in eyrie of children, little eyases that cry out on the top of question and are most tyrannically clapped for. These are now the fashion, and so rattle the common stages, so they call them. That many wearing rapiers are afraid of goose quills, and dare scarce come thither.
Huh. What are they? Children? Who maintains them? How are they escorted? Will they pursue the quality no longer than they can sing? Will they not say afterwards if they should grow themselves into common players, as it is most like if their means are no better? Now their writers do them wrong to make them exclaim against their own succession.
Faith, there's been much to do on both sides, and the nation holds it no sin to tie them to controversy. There was for a while no money bid for argument unless the poet and the player went to cuffs in the flesh.
Is it possible?
Oh, there has been much selling about brains.
Do the boys carry it away?
Aye, that they do, my lord. Hercules and his load too.
It is not very strange, for my uncle is king of Denmark. And those that would make mouths at him, while my father lived, would give 20, 40, 50, 100 ducats apiece for his picture in little. Splud. There is something in this more than natural, if philosophy could find it out.
There are the players.
Where? Oh my God. Gentlemen, you are welcome to Elsinore. Your hands. Come then. The appurtenance of welcome is fashion and ceremony. Let me comply with you in this garb, lest my extent to the players or the players, they don't know what they'll think. But please, come. You are welcome to Elsinore. But my uncle, father, and aunt, mother are much deceived.
In what, my dear lord?
Oh, I am. In what? I am but mad northwest. But when the wind is southerly, I know a hawk from a handsaw.
So, you know how it works. If you just need to get up and work this piece, there's no reason to talk whatsoever, unless there's some reason that you think we can say something to help, but no obligation to talk. If you just wanted to work it, it's fine.
Yes, I would. I wanted to work it. I put it up at the studio yesterday, with and they couldn't make it. The members that helped me out yesterday. Dario was Rosencrantz, and I picked another lady, Yaz, to be Guildenstern. But I was lucky enough that these two jumped in, and I love you for it. Not too many people, around. Hey, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, let's jump up there. It's like
So somebody directing you in?
No. I'm still in process.
How long have you been working on it?
It's been a few years, Bobby.
By the way, it's fucking Hamlet. There's nothing wrong with it.
Absolutely. And when I do, I'm getting there now to eventually find a director. But right now I'm still in process. I'm trying. Just yesterday, Salome was mentioned about, because in this section of the piece, because what I've been doing is working different sections of the piece. But what I wanted to try today in this rehearsal was just to go deeper in my choice that I felt was a little distracted and robbed by another choice I made that I created on stage, which is still a good idea, but I think I was juggling too many things at the same time. So I wanted to just dedicate myself, commit myself to that front. And that stuff is all new. Even with the Bodkin, and then I was just rethinking what my state is right before they come in, right after Polonius leaves, because this scene comes right after Polonius, the fishmonger scene. So I thought, give myself a private moment in my little space. I'm outside a courtyard outside the castle, and so I that poem I read, I went deeper with it and just allowed my relaxation to get through. That's the other thing, is relaxation. It's just so fucking important, and just trusting that I am enough in that choice of what I'm personalizing.
I understand.
And it was fucking scary at one point. It's not. I don't know. But it's good. You know, this is what it is. So and then the last thing. Well, so yeah, that's what. But yeah, I wanted to do it, get it on its feet, keep working it, and then start this. And then what you said earlier, you said find the moments. So also is allowing myself to hear the things for the first time. I keep reminding myself, because I don't want to get stuck in a pattern with the words. Now I'm getting comfortable. Now I'm pretty much off book with this, but I wasn't. I've been in the process of getting that off book. But every time I hear it, I want to hear finding the moments. So there are moments like allow myself to just hear it. Okay, what does that mean? How do I feel about and what are they? You know, and just keep asking questions.
Good. That's all good stuff.
That's where I'm at.
Did you feel like you achieved your exercise to a certain extent?
I feel like I did achieve the exercise.
Okay.
And then lastly, this here, I just started playing with it, because I just read the whole play up to this point, and just this, and I've always wanting to tackle now the transition of Hamlet when I start going, you know, because everybody else is calling him crazy, you know, and that's, you know, so he starts putting on an act of being a warrior because his father asked him to avenge his death. And I remember, you know, you keep saying that's the story, that's the event, that's what's going on. So I thought about that, and Salome had brought that up yesterday. She said you're finding that role you have to play within the piece, but the role of like taking fucking action and asking the question, am I able to kill someone?
Well, I mean, if you don't ask that question in this play, then don't bother.
Of course.
Okay, so I understand all of that.
All right, thanks. Sorry.
That's okay. In looking at it, those ideas that you're expressing, I wish you had chased them a little bit more. I wish I had seen the warrior here, the role of the warrior here a little bit more. I wish that opening moment that you found would have transcended into the play as well. It felt like you just lost it once the play began. But those are all good things. I'm trying to decide, should we open this up? I don't think so. I think you know what you're after. You're going to keep exploring stuff.
Yes.
At some point, then you'll have to define what are the moments in the play more clearly. You'll have to define. I mean, it doesn't matter what any of the scholars say about whether he's mad or not. And I've read most of them, and it's up in the air whether he's actually mad or he isn't. He's playing a role, but you have to decide.
Yeah.
When you think you know you're sane, and when you think. And by the way, there are probably moments in the play when he's going over the top, when he doubts his own sanity. What he doesn't doubt, though, ever, is whether this fucking world is worth it. And that's something that should drive him forward always.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it's worth it for me or anyone else to talk. I think you should keep exploring.
Yeah, I think the big thing was just committing to just doing it in front of people.
Yeah. You're handling the language well. He handles language
Yeah,
well.
beautiful.
Yeah, really.
Beautiful.
So you have so much to do. There's so much to explore.
Yeah.
Keep doing this work, and at some point you'll do it again, and you'll make choices in terms of what happens in the scene. You know, I mean, the big question in this scene is, in terms of what happened. At some point, you decide whether or not he suspects these people yet, or he says so. Or you're sent for. It's a big question.
Yeah, because you show up out of the blue.
And they deny it. They deny it until they don't deny it. Then how does he feel about that? But I wouldn't worry about any of that stuff yet. I think you need to explore the dialogue, the text, the character, the situation more. Put it on its feet in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
This was by the way, it's a great exercise to take the warrior mantle for this scene. That idea is a good one, but you didn't do that. You didn't. I mean, can you imagine you played the warrior? It'd be this. Were you sent for? Were you sent for? The fucking warrior don't fuck around. He's Macbeth. Now you play Hamlet as Macbeth, and suddenly it's a whole different. Now you can't play that in the play, but as an exercise to play the warrior, to scare the fuck out of those two, that'd be really interesting to see what happens. But you didn't do it. It was an idea, but you didn't do it.
Yeah,
you know?
I didn't.
It's a great exercise. You should have. I mean, I didn't know you were playing the warrior until you told me.
Well, it's. I feel like I'm figuring it out. I feel like this is like new to me. And
I'm
but
saying
yes,
in
yes.
your next exercise
Yes.
to play Hamlet as the warrior, which is listen, God knows he'd like to be the warrior. He'd like to walk up to that motherfucker who's fucking his mother and killed his father and kill him. That's the struggle. It's not in his nature to do so. That's the problem. But to find out what it would be like if he was able to do it, how fucking cool is that to find that side of that character? But you didn't do it. It remained intellectual. Now you have to do it. Even if you never play the moments you find, they'll be underneath it.
No, that's fucking yeah. Of course, I just started understanding viscerally now. Like,
Yeah, that's
but
okay.
then also another question came up when you said that is like, what if I start just as a human being if I start liking it?
Well, why wouldn't you? Don't you think Hamlet would like to like that?
Shit.
Don't you think he'd like to be able to the guy who can defend his father's death and his mother's honor?
Yes.
He'd love it.
Yes.
So to find out what that feels like as Hamlet is a great exercise. But you didn't do it. Next time you got to do it.
So as a Christian, he doesn't turn the other cheek.
Yeah. Great stuff. Okay, let's move on.
Thank you, Bobby.
Yeah, good stuff. Who's up next? Those of you who don't know, we ended by 5 over 4. I'll try to get as many people in as possible.
David,
Yes.
you're up next.
Tanya, my dear.
That's a great exercise. That's a wonderful exercise to do that exercise with that character. Next time, fully do it.
Full warrior.
Yeah. Even if you find 3 moments, you'll find at least 2 or 3 moments to actually put into your portrayal.
Here's your coffee, homie.
There's a great on YouTube. It's black and white from '62 of Peter O'Toole and Orson Welles.
Oh, I've seen that.
Isn't it great?
Fantastic.
Isn't it great?
The whole dialectic
Yes.
between what it's about, what's this, what's
Yes.
that moment, what's that. Beautiful.
And I love Wells going, the first thing you must remember is Hamlet's a genius.
Yes.
I don't mean the character is a genius.
100%.
And it's funny too because you realize O'Toole has not invented his public personality yet, and you realize how intelligent and how really he's there until he creates this other being.
I couldn't agree more. Who was that guy? Who was the interviewer?
Oh, some Englishman, and then there was this older actor, I guess, who had played it, and Wells was actually sort of dismissive of him. But
I know he was.
Yeah, and
But
sort of
I've
arrogant.
seen that. That was quite wonderful.
Yeah.
Well,
It's on
no.
YouTube. It's from 1961 or 62. It's just before O'Toole became a huge star.
All right, guys, here we go.
You just people are saying.
So, David, what are we looking at?
This is an identity piece that it's on the last page. No, there's just one line. There's one line on the last page. if we get to this is an identity piece. I wrote it 6 months ago because Bobby was talking about him, and I got it ready for the last week that he was going to be here, and then Bobby, like everyone else, leaves.
They all leave.
So I closed the computer and left it. And then this morning, I opened the computer again and I printed it. So it hasn't been looked at in 6 months. And I hope it answers the questions that we talked about.
Okay. And I'll assume it's somewhere under 10 pages.
It's exactly like 7.5.
Okay. Or 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's like that. So it's just an identity piece, first draft. Haven't seen it in 6 months. I'm a single father. Wow, does that sound cliche? Let me clarify. I am a hands-on, do-it-all, single fucking father. Breakfast, lunches, dinners, schools, doctors, dentists, sports, lessons, clubs, trips, haircuts, nail clips, clothes, shoes, birthdays, holidays, any days, all days, every days. I am on. No help, no family, no real job, no savings, no cushion, no reprieve. It is simply who I am. Because I have to be. Because they need me to be. It wasn't always this way. 10 years ago, there was a fire. And our home burned to the ground. Okay, let me stop. What I was about to tell you next is that my wife died in that fire. That's a lie. A lie I've told so many times that I actually believe it. The fire that I'm referring to started in her head, and it moved to her heart. And once a fire lives there, it's over. She had an affair with a neighbor, a married neighbor who
who had a family of his own, which quadrupled the complexities. Now, I tried everything to put that fire out. I moved back, moved out again, spent every cent, every ounce of energy, every resource I could think of. And then one afternoon in therapy, I took her by the hand and I said, "You are my essence. You are everything to me. And I would walk you all the way to heaven." And she calmly looked at me in the eye and said, "I don't feel that way about you." And in that instant, that tiny moment, my heart popped like a warm water balloon bursting inside my own body, drowning my dream. 20 years gone. The family shattered. She left that day and we never saw her again. Now, a little caveat to all this drama. I'm a kitchen sink junkie with a propensity towards violence as solution. Now, all that means is that I'm going to want medication, and that my instinct is to make someone pay for my pain. Luckily, I had 15 years clean at the time of the offense, so there was the foundation of telling another sicko my truth before I did anything catastrophic. And I did, often. And it allowed me to stay in the game one day at a time. Anxiety and depression were my primary colors, and I did everything to hide it from my kids. I wore a mask continually during the day, and after they'd fall asleep, I'd take it off. I'd cry and rage and pray and jerk off and wake up soaked in sweat and read and pray some more. Finally, I'd pass out with just enough in the tank to wake up and do it all over again. I was in psychological warfare with my disease and my dream, but I showed up every single day, and I truly believed that love would prevail, that God would show me the way. What I longed for most was a partner, a beautiful partner, a good partner, someone to love me and my kids, someone to make a real family, to make me whole. Because no matter what I'd like to tell you about me as a father, there was a massive void in my life, and only she could fill it.
Are you ready to order?
I looked up from the table. We locked eyes, and that was it. I had known her forever. I'd been looking for her forever, and I finally found her. Thank God. I was so high I could barely eat. I drank so much coffee I almost pissed myself. I spun the whole tale over my pancakes. We'd marry, she'd raise my kids, we'd have one of our own, and live happily ever after. It was perfect. She was sexy, smart, insightful. And we'd known each other for 1,000 years. In so many incarnations, I had never been clearer in my life.
I'm off at 8. What are you doing tonight?
Did she just say that?
Yeah.
Well, I've got my kids and they're in school right now.
What time they go to sleep?
9-ish.
10-ish, anyone?
Boom! Heart pumping, balls jumping. I was alive again. I gave her my number, my address, and a fat tip, but not as the fat tip she was going to get later that night. I didn't hear one word either one of my kids said that evening. Homework, dinner, bath, stories, prayers, lights out, straight to the shower, and then some manic housekeeping until...
Hi.
Holy shit. Black cocktail dress, heels, hair done, red lipstick. My dick started dripping right then and there.
I want to kiss you.
Then kiss me. And boy, did she. The kind of kiss where you need dental work afterwards. Chipped teeth, lips bleeding, swollen everything. I picked her up and carried her to my bed. But before I ripped her dress off...
Wait. I'm on my period. I mean, I'm okay if you are.
There was blood everywhere. Slippery, wet period sex, sweat, semen, saliva infused with hot red iron. Two bloodthirsty vampires fucking until dawn. I was never so high. She left sometime around 5 a.m. I immediately started washing sheets and blankets in the laundry room downstairs. I watched the sun rise high as a kite, not the sun, but me. I got my kids up and I got them ready for school. They had no idea how happy their dad was that morning. At some point later on, I passed out. When it came to, there were 30 missed calls.
Why didn't you answer your phone? I needed to talk to you.
I was sleeping. I didn't get much rest last
Very
night.
funny. I had a situation. I needed your help.
What happened?
Don't worry. I took care of it.
Now, a healthy person would have seen this behavior and ended it right there. But it made me want her even more. We made love, we ate lunch, and she left with a smile on her face. And I was a superhero, albeit a very tired one. Months went on with the same pattern: push, pull, hot, cold, crazy-making dynamics. She was brilliant and insightful, passionate and thrilling, but also paranoid and violent, accusatory and unstable, and I couldn't put her down. I had kicked cocaine and heroin, and they had nothing on her. I began to realize she needed to fight in order to have sex. The more intense the fight, the more intense the fuck. So, for two desperate addicts, the path was laid, pun intended. One night we were on the phone arguing, and she went into a diatribe on my relations with other women. Everyone from my 7-year-old neighbor to my 70-year-old mother. My head was pounding, my ear was burning, I couldn't take it anymore. I put the phone down on the bed while she was still yelling, and I just walked away. And within 15 minutes, she was there, on fucking fire.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
What the fuck is wrong with me?
Yeah. Yeah, asshole.
Stop talking to me like that. My kids are asleep in the next room, so please keep it down.
You know my traumas, and yet you continue to torture me with your bullshit with every whore on the planet.
What?
Joe. You know what you do. Now cut the shit and fuck me. What did you say?
I said no.
You fucking pussy!
Excuse me?
You heard me, you little pussy. You're not gonna fuck me? It's okay. You're not that good anyway. It's no wonder.
No wonder what?
No wonder she was fucking the neighbor. You couldn't please her, so she went and fucked the neighbor. She was fucking the neighbor! Fucking the neighbor!
And everything went white. Years of injustice erupted in a single solitary moment. I don't remember any of it. The next thing I felt was a hot burn of light in my eyes and the cold bite of handcuffs on my wrists. There were police officers all over my apartment, walkie-talkies, flashlights, badges, gun belts everywhere. My boys were standing there in their pajamas crying. She was on the floor of the kitchen covered in a sheet with a bright red stain near her shrouded head. Blood was everywhere. I had never been so low. Lights shift to Joe to cast prison bars across his body. 15 years. With 15 years clean, I got sentenced to 15 years for manslaughter. Womanslaughter, really. It was downgraded from murder because of the bruises on me. I had hundreds of them. I guess she was going to town on me, and I reached back and just popped her head off the marble counter. A lifetime of rage in one fell swoop. It was instant. She didn't suffer. Maybe she suffered before, like I suffer now.
Let's go. You got visitors.
Is it Saturday? My sons come to see me on Saturdays. Used to be once a month, now it's every other. They're growing up, their lives are getting busier, and it's far. I didn't tell you, after the trial, he went to live with my brother in Arizona. It's been almost 5 years now. I'm still a single father. Behind bars, no longer hands-on. Fuck. I took so much pride in that. get that back. I just pray that they remember those years, that I gave them enough so they don't end up like me. This wasn't how the story was supposed to end, but it did.
So a new piece of writing by a fairly new writer.
Don't mess with me,
David, so you know how it works.
Sir?
We can talk about this if you'd like, and if the answer is yes, we can talk about it either as a piece of the evening on identity, or as a piece of writing unto itself. What's your?
I'm writing it to see if it contributes to the evening, so I'd like to see if
Let's
those
talk about it
questions
in
were
that
answered.
context. First of all, how many people think this is a piece that works? Raise your hand. Almost all of you. How many people think it works for the evening of identity? Less. Okay, and there's a reason for that. Who can tell me why it doesn't work as well?
I think it's just in the first sentence.
What? You gotta speak up.
I think it's in the first sentence.
That's correct.
The thing about this piece is you're not a product.
What is he?
You're an addict.
Thank you. That's it. This is you open it up. What that line you have?
I'm a single father.
No, I'm a junkie.
I'm a kitchen sink junkie.
That's the opening line. This is the story of a junkie. This is the story of a father.
Fucking
That's
great.
the identity.
Great.
You hit it right on the head. I just kept thinking it. That's the story. Then it will work. If you tell that story,
okay.
That's exactly right, Chris. Great. Anything else anybody want to say? Because that's it. Go ahead.
This isn't necessarily about the writing, but it reminded me up until the very end, almost of like the relationship was it Michael Caine has and Alfie with the camera,
Sure.
and how they're like almost best friends. And towards the end of it, I mean, it was very intimate, the conversation. I was wondering, because the scenes are so big with this lady, I was wondering if there's maybe more of a way of creating that intimacy in the relationship between the audience and you. Does that make sense the way I'm saying it in a way? Like I'm the only person you're talking to right now. As opposed to addressing an entire audience about this, and then it comes in and gets crazy. If it's in here and we're talking a little bit, and then it's back to life.
Does that think it's in the playing, or you think it's in the writing?
I think it's just in the direction. I think the writing is there and it's fine. It was just one thing that kind of came up in my head, and I was wondering. I want to feel like we're buddies, and I'm the only person that's hearing this.
Okay. You should. It's exactly what we did with Working 2017. We have to move on. 1, 2, 3, and then we move on.
I just.
Jim.
Just you're telling. I mean, I guess to Zach's point is like if you're telling it from your jail cell, it's different than if you're telling it from.
Yeah, but it's all in the playing. You're right, but that's in the playing. Let's not talk about that now.
Yeah, I just, to the 5 things that we do with the identity thing, you can definitely whittle this down, but this is such a fucking great piece.
Yeah.
Part of me would like to see you do a fucking 25-minute thing yourself.
Yeah.
It's just so fucking good, dude.
It's really good if you choose to do that. Absolutely. Kat?
I just don't know what a kitchen sink junkie is. When you were saying you were high, I didn't know if it was emotionally from the relationship or actually.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah.
So, hopefully, if you do this, Kat won't have that question. So, if I were you, you want to make this work for the evening. Bobby's point is well taken. You can make this work for the evening and still make it a bigger piece for yourself on some other evening. But if you want to make it work for the identity evening, there's a structure. Can you tell me what the structure is?
Who am I?
Not who am I. This is who I am.
Okay.
There's a big difference.
Okay.
Go ahead.
This is who I am. This is what I hope for.
No. This is who I am. This is how I got there.
Okay.
Go ahead. What's the next one?
He satisfied that.
This is what I hope for.
The event that takes place when tells us either you got the hope or you didn't, and the emotional price paid.
Yeah.
Those are the 5 beats. So
Do you think I covered some of that in here?
Yes, but not. It's got to be much more embedded and covered. It's got to be specific.
Okay.
This piece can definitely work, and I would say that if you're ready to attack it from that point of view, it's not a father, it's a kitchen sink junkie, and hit those 5 beats. This would be the second one in the evening. It's terrific.
Thank you.
What you guys think?
Yeah.
Let's move on.
Dave, what coffee shop did you meet her?
What time is it?
It's called William
We have 1 or 2
Morris.
more. The day's over. 1 or 2
Thank
more.
you,
The
Abby.
day's over. Who's
Welcome.
up?
That was great.
Pauline, you're up.
And then Howie.
Pauline and Howie, and we'll try to get both in, okay? We ended at 5.
Bobby, Joe Taylor.
Right. What?
Joe Taylor got sick, but he asked to email yourself in the asshole behind your read,
Alcohol
and then
pills.
record what the feedback is.
If we have time.
Yeah, we'll see. But,
Okay.
you know.
Brian, this is absolutely pornographic.
Yeah.
By the way, if you keep the line about not as much the fat tip later, where is it?
Easy right here.
Where? Give it to her.
Oh,
Give her the
nice.
line.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, give her
Thank
the line.
you.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Then the men won't turn on you.
Exactly. Or the women.
Yeah, there you go.
Hey. Let's have this just check something.
What are we looking at? You want to tell us? Or?
Stand up.
Stand up. Great.
Stand up mixed in with my song.
And you'll stop it somewhere around 10 minutes.
It's 10 minutes, yeah. I think that's okay. Wait, hold on. Actually, you guys always tell me. That's too loud. That's too loud. I know, but you gotta be able to hear me. It's too loud. I think that's good. Okay.
Actually, this is
Yeah.
the
Okay.
And
All right.
the whole
This
audition's
is
about getting the audition
stuff I've
together.
been developing in here for a little bit now. So we'll see. It might not be. It might be more sad than funny. Okay. I just first want to. No soy de puta. That's actually not even a joke. I just want to say that out loud because I just learned how to say that. It means I'm not your bitch. Okay. All right. So let me describe my mother to you, Judy. Yes. My mother is 300 pounds. Yeah. Probably looking at me like, how'd that happen? Well, it's called eating your feelings. Yes. Big booty, Judy. She loves that nickname. Yeah. My mom is a murderer of dreams. Yes. She Well, you've been there for 6 years already. You had your shot. Yes. Yeah. When you are a 300-pound woman, you have a lot of odors. And you have trouble cleaning between the crevices. Yeah, I know. By the way, I love my mom a lot. Okay? Yes. She cracks me up and traumatizes me at the same time. I am conflicted. Oh, yes. I am obsessively clean about my hygiene. Yeah. I don't know where I get it from, though. My 300-pound mother, she stinks. Yes. She doesn't clean underneath the slap of her gigantic sagging tits. Lift them up, Judy. Lift them up. You won't get the red rash. It's a nice visual to go home with, yeah? Yes. One of my favorite sayings that my mom says is, don't make a mountain out of a molehill. Well, Judy, you did that. You did that, Judy. That's irony. Yes. My mom, she talks about death a lot. Here's an example. She says, if I spend more time in Walmart, I won't die. Oh, Judy. I just imagine her going to Walmart in the middle of the night in her nightgown, as she does to get exercise, and she waddles off to the tent section, flops open a tent. She would never do this in real life. She wouldn't know how, but I just know it. And she passes out inside. And Jimmy, the employee, comes over like, what are you doing, Judy? Because Judy knows everyone at Walmart. And Judy pops her head out of the tent. This is my home now. Oh, Judy, get out of the tent, Judy. You are a liability. To not just Walmart, but to me. Yes. We were watching the news, me and my mom, and there was a shooting in Walmart. And she was like, jerk. How can anyone do that in Walmart? See, Judy, you can die in Walmart. You're not even safe in Wally World, Judy. Oh, boy. My mom, she's become a rebellious teenager since my dad died. She'll put a dish in the sink and she'll scream out to the sky, you can't make me do the dishes anymore, Carrie. It's my house now. Oh, Judy, the grieving widow. She loved my dad so much. Yes. My mom, she's on the phone with me and she's like, I need my kid to take care of me. I said, Mom, your other daughters are there. I'm 3,000 miles away because I chose freedom. Yes. Yes, but she just kept laying into me about this. And I was like, Mom, what do you expect me to do? Give up my life for you? She's like, yes.
Oh.
She is dead serious. She really means that. I said, but Mom, we really need to get you a nurse. My mom is 66, but she acts like she's 96. She can't keep it in her pants. And I'm not talking about her punani. Yeah, another visual.
Oh,
yeah. Have a nice dinner. Yeah. Oh, Judy. Yeah. But she's like, Elisa is good with me. She knows what she's doing. She actually cares about me. Yes, Judy. The shame and guilt. I live with it daily. Jewish. Yes. I said, but Mom, Elisa just had a baby. So what? Aren't you excited to be a grandma? You seen one, you seen them all. This is our first grandchild. Yeah, our first grandchild. She just kept going on about this. I need my kids. Mom, how many more kids do you want? 5! She's got 3 of us, but she wants more free servants to love her so she can suck them dry. Yes. I said, Mom, why don't you just adopt a kid and turn him into your servant? She's like, I want someone I know. That's a hint for me. Go home and suffer. Yes, Judy. You know when you go home to visit your family and they feed you? You know, it's kind of a thing, right? I went home and I told my mom I was hungry. And like a typical nurturing Jewish mother, she said, that's what McDonald's is for. Oh, Judy. Sustaining her children so we will one day give up our lives to be with her. Yes, I just want a home-cooked meal. Please, someone adopt me into their family. I'm taking interviews, yeah. Oh, Judy. So, yeah, I've been very lonely lately, obviously. And I've been judging myself on this majorly. Like, Pauline, just love yourself. Hug yourself. It's just not the same. And then I watched the monkey documentaries, and the monkeys are all over each other, which confirms my feelings. We are not meant to be alone in this world, unless you are my mother. Daddy died because it was his only way out. Yes, sorry, I know. Yes. So I love these monkeys called the bonobo monkeys. They don't have any violence with each other. Any kind of dispute, they just like bang it out. Brother, sister, father, daughter, major incest, like banana in hand, bang, bang, bang. Oh, God. Can you imagine if the world was like that? You get into a car accident, you pull over. Instead of yelling at each other, you just real quick like boom, boom, boom. And you're good. No insurance exchange necessary. I would be so down for that world if there was no such thing as STDs and smelly people. Yes. So speaking of monkeys, this is my monkey song that you guys have seen because they have been here. It's called Boss with the Hot Sauce. Yeah. What you know about monkeys? What you know about monkeys? I'm all in locked, hooked on those monkey dogs. What you know about the big schnoz monkey Alistair? Nose like a Jewish old man with mouth fur. The bigger the monkey's nose, get some more hoes. All Alistair gotta do is get his 20 wives, brag go. With that all day bang bang, munches on them leaves and just hang. He the boss with hot sauce, yeah. Gets the girls lost in his big schnoz. This monkey the boss with the hot sauce, boss with the hot sauce, boss with the hot sauce. Gets the girls lost in his big schnoz. But one of his wives, Lucy, wasn't satisfied. And creeping was another guy, Bill the Bachelor. Lucy's all like, come on over, dear Bill, and stick it in my rear. They were about to get it on when Alistair came along hissing. Alistair, please, don't be such a tease. You ain't giving me the attention that I need to get pregnant. Alistair does a to Lucy and jumps on back to his banging duties. Okay, go on, hit this newbie young booty, says Lucy, all cool, but then runs off and sobs. Decides she's done with that big no snob Alistair Don't try and hit me in my sweet spot. My neck! He's filling up balls with the hot sauce. Gets the girls lost in his big schnoz. This monkeyed up balls with the hot sauce. Balls with the hot sauce. Gets the girls lost in his big schnoz. Bill is eager. He stands up tall with his pink weenie sticking out all hard. Makes himself a threat. That's called commitment. While Alistair was out grubbing on some fruit tree, taking his good old time, didn't see Bill swing in and claim his territory. Some may think Bill's a bully, but that's called victory. Now this my family, says Bill, losing's a prize. Didn't you see those sweet brown eyes? Billy ain't a bachelor no more. Now he the balls with the hot shows. Yeah, Bill, he flossing. P.S. I like men who are bosses. Yeah, what up? Let's dip. The song is really just a metaphor for what's going down deep in my core. I want to settle down. I've retired from being a whore. Maybe you don't care, just want a baby.
It's the first time song about monkeys fucking I've ever
This is what you've been missing out on.
The whole new Actors Gym. Howie, you can get ready your next. So, what would you like us to do? Would you like us to move on or address what we saw?
I don't think I really need much from you guys. I mean, you guys did it through the faces.
How'd you name the monkey?
It's in a documentary. It's all real.
Oh.
Did you tape that?
Yeah.
You heard the laughs when there were laughs when there wasn't. There's no reason to talk. I'm happy to address something if you think there is, but I don't think there's any.
I don't think so. I mean, people that have been seeing it, have seen it kind of develop. Like, you know, Jim's and Billy and Catherine, they've seen it kind of develop. So, I mean, I think I've addressed a lot of things that they were helping me with, right?
You slayed it.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Okay, cool. Because I've been doing this 10-minute thing for like a couple months. And then, so yeah, I mean, I feel good about it. I think I felt it out pretty.
If you're good, we're good. We'll move on.
I'm good, Bobby. Nice to see you.
Sorry, one more time.
You gonna do it at the club?
Yeah, that's why I'm doing it here. Yeah, you want to
Yeah, that's the first rap song I've ever heard about monkeys fucking.
Yeah,
exactly. Okay, this is the last piece for the Actors Gym. If somebody didn't get to go, I apologize, but you'll go first next week.
Man, a lot of great.
We actually got everybody out.
Yeah,
It's
it's just 4 pages.
Except for Joe Taylor.
Tell Joe you do it next week. Was it a identity piece or what was it?
Writing.
How you doing, man?
No, 7 pages.
I know what it was.
Screenplay format.
Do you know there's a festival every year in Glendale?
Salome.
There's a Three Stooges festival, yeah, at the Alex Theater.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll figure it out.
At the
There's
Alex
a place
Theater.
called Biola on Van Nuys.
What's that? Oh, in Glendale. You know the Alex Theater?
I don't know. Let's figure it out. Here we go. Howie, what are we looking at?
This is the gym piece.
Hold on one second, guys. Let's not have the writer talk over us.
So this is the gym piece. It's a little out of order. It's
The gym piece is a pilot that Howie wrote, brought in last week. And go ahead, Howie.
So this is our main guy. His name is PJ. He's the fitness manager of the gym. So I watched Mr. Robertson. It was just
helpful?
Dead on. Exactly what I'm going for. So I started thinking about the backstory of this guy. So like Gold's Gym, it's named Silver's Gym. And there were 3 brothers. And I kind of stole this from the Koch brothers. There's like a hidden Koch brother that kind of got swept under the rug that nobody knows about. That got fucked out of all the money. So he's like, his dad was the hidden Koch brother of the gym. So he's broke. He has no money. The family sold the gym, but he's working in the gym to kind of get in touch with the dad. Because he never knew much about his dad. And so his mom died. His mom is Mexican. He's like half white, half Mexican. Mom died. Mom never told him about his dad. This is his like long lost aunt from the Silver family, the only one who came to the funeral. And so he's doing the eulogy, and then he has a talk with her.
Where is it in the pilot?
It's going to be earlier in the pilot now, I think. I'm still figuring it out.
That's fair enough. You okay, RJ?
Yeah, I'm turning the lights off.
Thank you.
Okay, funeral home day. PJ's giving.
Can I ask you guys to separate a little bit? Let us in on the fly. Okay, thank you.
Dash Ricker. Okay. Funeral home day. PJ is giving eulogy for his mom. Laura.
For those here who don't know me, my name is PJ, and I'm Laura's only son. I never knew my dad. He passed when I was very young, and it was always just us. My mom was a woman of very few words. I always knew when I did something wrong because she would only yell at me in Spanish. She had a dog problem. Every single stray dog in the world had to be rescued by my mother. She'd go to the animal shelter a few times a week, and she'd cry every single time that she couldn't rescue them all. That's the kind of heart my mom had.
Then we cut to Aunt Helen. She approaches PJ as he's greeting people.
I'm sorry about your mother. She was a kind soul, and the family could have been nicer to both of you. I hope you're moving forward with your life.
I'm doing great, Aunt Helen. I'm working at the Venice gym.
The first silver gym? Why would you do that?
I'm the fitness manager. I thought you'd be happy.
Oh, you know the family doesn't own it anymore. They sold it to a bunch of Texas corporate assholes years ago. Your uncle's always regretted it.
I know. I don't know. It's kind of cool to be at the same place my dad was.
Listen to me. Whatever daddy issues you have to deal with, do that in therapy like a normal person. Do not work there.
My dad was a bodybuilder, right?
Yeah, so?
I think I'm going to do a competition next year.
You're going to be a bodybuilder?
Just like my dad.
You're going into a very dangerous direction, PJ.
Okay. Well, thanks for coming.
Don't dismiss me. You will end up dead, just like your father.
No one has told me a damn thing, so why should I listen to you?
Someone walks up and
Not now. Fine. Remember, you're forcing me to do this.
Whatever you say will not shock me. I promise. Whatever I have imagined is much worse than the truth.
Okay. Your father was a crazy, slightly retarded homosexual bodybuilder who spent his trust fund on steroids, posing drunks, and black male hookers. The two other Silver brothers created the greatest gym empire ever. Your father, on the other hand, died broke, sad, and alone, walking around Venice Beach in bright gold lame posing with the words "hot stuff" on his ass, while wearing roller skates and blasting share tunes from her disco phase. That was your father. You want to end up like that?
I take back what I said. This is worse. I'm going to be a natural bodybuilder, Aunt Helen.
Oh, please. That's just what your father said. The steroids made him even more retarded.
People don't say that word anymore.
It was 1980s. He was retarded.
I'm leaving.
You wanted the truth.
You're an insane woman. Just tell me. What happened? How did my parents meet?
It's like what you said in your eulogy. She liked rescues. Your dad was the towel boy at the front desk. That's all his brothers let him do. Your mother fell in love with him. He had an amazing body. His face was another story.
I can't find any pictures of it.
Yeah, that's a good thing. The sad truth is, there is no gym for your face. Your father was one of the ugliest men in the world. Gorgeous body, horrible face.
Is there a point to this?
You wanted the truth. It's so sad that you were deprived of your legacy just because of some garden variety racism and homophobia. And well, he was retarded too. It was a combo of all three.
What the hell are you talking about?
Your mother was an illegal immigrant from Mexico. She was the maid just for your father's wing in the house. Needless to say, it was a scandal. You are the product of a Mexican immigrant maid and a very ugly homosexual body. If you go into bodybuilding, you too will become a homosexual while parading around in the nudo. It's in your genes. Move on, sweetheart. Don't ever get involved in the sport of bodybuilding. It's not a sport. People say it's a sport, but it's not a sport. Any sport that involves wearing a very I can't do anything with you anymore. It's funny. Oh my
Howie,
God.
you know how it works. If you come, you need to move along. If we can say something to help you move.
I'll take any notes, please.
Does it work? Does it not? It's a new pilot. How many people think that these scenes are working in a new pilot? I'd like to see more. Sure. Questions from anyone?
Is it a comedy?
It's my first ticket drama.
Howie, I thought it was excellent. My only note would be, and this might, is depending on where it is in the show, I got much more of a sense of her character than I did his.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've ever seen the short Thunder Road. It's a 13-minute short about a guy giving a eulogy at his mother's funeral, and we learn everything in the world about who both of them are.
Thunder Road.
Yeah, check it out.
It's a short.
It's a short, and they made a movie out of it now, but it is, yeah. I don't know.
I'll just watch short. Great, awesome.
Great. Kat and Bobby, and we'll move on with Lindy. I'll see what I have to say. Kat?
I think what does work about this, even though she's doing all the talking, is you're setting up a perfect scenario of this underdog who now has to go and prove her wrong about everything.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's fabulous. It's hilarious. My only question, so you wrote it as a sort of it's somewhere in
It's
the
early in the
pilot.
It's early in the might be the opening.
I'm just trying to think how you're going to
It's the
weave
opening
it in. Is it going to be difficult for you to do that, or you think you can smoothly put it in?
Well, it's a better opening scene than what I have now. So for
Oh,
right now,
it would
this is
actually
the opening
open the
scene of the
pilot.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we cut to the gym.
And then we cut to the gym.
Linda Lavin. You want to get Linda Lavin?
So yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Tom, and then we have to.
I'm going to get you. You forget Linda Lavin.
Why does he stay?
Well, if it's not cable.
Why does he stay? Why does he stay and sit there?
And listen to the.
To listen.
Because he wants to know the truth.
Well, let's talk about that.
Okay.
Good question, Tom. I'm watching the first half of this piece, and I'm saying, boy, Howie hasn't been this off in a long time.
Ah, shit.
It doesn't come on fire until she gives her speech.
Okay.
At all. I mean, there's no drama there. There's none of your great writing, none of your funny stuff there. The whole page and a half till she gives her speech.
Okay.
And I'm wondering why, and I think I now know why. Is because the opening is about nothing. Nothing. We don't care about his mother. You know, it doesn't give us any insight into who he is. And then she says all these things that I'm going to assume he hasn't heard before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here would be my suggestion to you on the rewrite. Nobody knows what he's doing at Silver's Gym. He chooses his mother's funeral to put out there that he's going to pay tribute to his father and his family by living in the by going into the family business and making a name for himself in the business. Do that at the this is how he gives the mother's eulogy. He talks about his father, his love for his father, and what he's going to do.
Yeah.
And everybody knows it. And then the aunt comes over and says, "Are you out of your fucking mind?" Get right to it.
Yeah.
Okay, and make it as funny as all the other stuff. And people should be fucking horrified. He's giving a eulogy about his mother. He's talking about his father and himself. Does that make sense, guys?
Yes.
Okay, so you set up the dream, then punch a fucking hole in the dream, and then he decides to go after the dream anyway. That would be your struggle. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It does. I like it.
What's so exciting about this, you know, I agree with everything you're saying, but what's exciting about this is that you've now widened this circle out for more conflict dynamics within this. Because I was worried about the gym and how that was gonna, but once you bring the family in, you've got so many places you can go.
Exactly.
And you also have a protagonist.
Go ahead. I have a question though. So, and this is it goes back to what the guy who talked today. I forgot his name.
Dito.
About not letting the truth get in the way of a good story. So the real Gold's Gym was sold to this Texas company, but also I'm thinking.
Can I give you the answer to what you're asking?
Yeah.
Who gives a fuck? This is your story. You do whatever the fuck you want to do. Use some of it.
But I'm saying the family still owning the business might be. I don't know. I got to figure that out.
Don't worry about any of that. It's a piece of fiction. Don't let that get. Never let the truth get in the way of a good scene or a good speech.
Yeah.
Never let the truth get in the way of a good scene. I promise you. Nobody gives a fuck about the truth unless you call it a biography. You call it a biography and say it's absolutely true story. So, but the main thing is you've got to have a character who's alive when we first see them. And right now, the only one that's alive is the aunt.
Yeah.
You have somebody come out, state the dream, what I'm going to do. I'm giving credence to my father's legacy by doing this. Everybody's fucking horrified. The aunt comes, does all this stuff, and he's got to respond in such a way.
Okay, yeah.
Punch in his dreams.
If he comes out with this big
I've done this great thing.
I'm gonna go into. I'm gonna be a professional bodybuilder just like my dad.
This is how I'm honoring my mother. I'm going to be like my father. This is how I'm honoring my mother. I'm going to be like my father.
Yeah.
And it has to be as sharp and incisive as all the stuff you usually write.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's great.
And then when she starts punching holes into it, he can either be totally deflated, or he can try to argue whatever you want. He's got to be fucking. The dream is ripped out of him. Next scene, fuck it. I'm not going to do it. I'm going to do it anyway. Don't get my dream. Now I got an opening.
Yeah, real great opening.
I'll see you all in about 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, 4